Miriam,
Perfect.
thank you again. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is going to be a short AGM, so don't worry. I'm not going to be talking for another 2 hours. So just want to introduce this event. So every year we have an AGM where we talk through our activities that we have completed in the previous year, and you'll have heard some of them in the previous 2 hours. But this is a lot more focused on Community Gardens Ireland and how we operate and what we've done. We're going to go through the minutes from last year's AGM as well. I'm going to bring them up now, just to run through them. And we're going to go through then a number of reports from myself as chairperson, for Ellie as secretary, for Orla as treasurer. We have a motion to go through as well, that Mirren is going to talk through, for the affiliation with Dublin Community Growers, and then we're going to go straight on to any other business. That is the plan for the event. So without further ado, I'm just going to share. These are the minutes that Connor kindly put together last year. I hope you're able to see them. So last year we had a number of people who were present. I began the meeting, mentioned an update on the Oireachtas presentations and about the different visits we were having, gave an update on gardens joining. Orla presented her report with some information here. Connor at the time stepped down from the position of secretary. We thanked Connor for his work. And then just the same comment here applies. We are always looking for more committee members. We mentioned it during the presentation that we just had there. If people are interested, you can put your name forward in the chat here and we can follow up with you afterwards. What we normally do, for each of our AGMs is that we get the names of people who are interested on coming on the committee. And then at our first committee meeting, we then elect the chairperson, treasurer and secretary from those interested. So just to highlight, that's the process that we have followed for a number of years. You can see here that this was a very, very short record of the meeting because this is a very short meeting. So I'd like to propose this as a true reflection of the previous AGM. Could I get a seconder, please?
Seconded.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Yeah.
Cool. Ellie, by the way, you're happy to take minutes for this, I assume. I didn't ask, but I assume you are. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, that's great. Connor, do
Now,
you have...
was it that second? Who seconded those?
There was a few, but I think Connor put his hand up first.
Cool. Thank you.
Connor, okay, that's on minutes. Do you have the slides from each of the presenters handy?
Let me see now here. I have the community.
While Connor's opening that, did anyone have any questions on the minutes from last year? They seem fairly simple, but
anyone needs the minutes, I believe that they can be circulated via email, no?
They can, of course.
So here we go, Donald. Can you see that now?
Maybe thinking about it.
Share screen. Chairperson's report.
Started. Yep, this is me. So I'll go through this very, very quickly. So I'll introduce myself again. My name is Donald McCormick. I'm living in Blessington, County Wicklow. Being the chairperson of Community Gardens Ireland since 2021. I actually became chairperson the night before, made the first presentation at the Oireachtas committee, which Mark chaired, as it happens. So there's a useless bit of information for you. Going on to the next page. So I'm going to fly through this. If you go full screen there, Connor, please, because I've thrown in graphics and it just gets a bit messy if it's not. Please and thank you.
I thought it was full screen.
Slideshow mode. The point of the slide, either way, is just to highlight that these are the current committee members of Community Gardens Ireland. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who gave up your time during this year to do something big or something small. As mentioned, we're all volunteers, so everything that people can help with, from putting forward suggestions to looking through or proposing changes that you want to make at a national level, to coming to meetings, to doing minutes, to working on the bank account. Everything is all beneficial to how we actually operate as an organization. If you can't make a full screen, Connor, that's fine. I'll just keep flying through it.
Yeah. Next one.
Yeah, keep going, please. Thank you. One thing to call out, so I have a list of different slides here of activities that have been completed in the last year. we didn't call this out because we just completed last year, but the second annual online gathering, you've just been to the third, but the second one was an incredibly popular event. At the time, 149 people had registered for it, and we're going to do the same thing that we did, in that we're going to send a link to everyone who had registered with us to the YouTube recording once that goes online the next couple of days. So if you missed bits of it, or you weren't, you misheard something, you'll be able to listen back on it. So again, just to show that that was a very popular event, and it's grown for this year as well. Next slide, please. One thing that I've been involved with the last number of years has been on the policy and advocacy front, and we increased the number of submissions we made over the last number of years. For 2023, we made over 50 submissions or presentations, and we'll go into some detail in a second on some of them, but just to highlight, you heard some of the updates on the planning and development bill. It might be hard to remember, but just over a year ago, allotments were omitted from the original planning and development bill, and there was a lot of work, a lot of submissions, a lot of reviews to try to get that back on. And you can see the output from positively engaging with members of the government and different parties, in terms of what Mark gave a presentation on earlier on. We were involved with the All Ireland Pollinator Plan review, and I mentioned that we have a project to work with them to develop a kind of a standard for pollinators, for pollinator friendly areas. Horticulture strategy, this is a national horticulture strategy. We were successful in getting an action added in there for allotments and community gardens for the first time. So for the first time, horticulture refers to allotments and community gardens, which is actually quite a large improvement. And at the very bottom there, we've made quite a large change, quite a big impact on the local authority climate action plans. Towards the end of last year, over 3 months, we drafted up 31 separate submissions to each of them. And the positive side of this is that some of the local authorities have rolled back on some changes that they were going to make. So South Dublin County Council, for example, had deleted all mention of allotments and community gardens, and they've actually put back in that they're going to maintain and expand the number of allotments and community gardens they are. And that's a small change, but that's very impactful, because essentially that's the only local authority in the country which that they're essentially protected now, and that protection was at risk of being removed. So that's just an example of some of the work that we do. Next slide, please. We have also, as well as actually just making the submissions, we've gone and met politicians as well to make presentations in person. So I mentioned the planning and development bill. We did run an online campaign to get people in contact with their TDs, senators and ministers, and keep doing that, because what I suggest is people just to keep getting in contact and reminding our politicians that we need to have a strong community growing law. If you want to get information on that, again, you can email info@cgireland.org to get some details on that. We've met with government ministers, the National Horticulture Strategy I mentioned, the final report on the Citizens Assembly and biodiversity loss as well. So the Global Action Plan made a presentation at that and submission as well, and they include the end report which came from that Citizens Assembly included an action for the state to develop more allotments and community gardens with private landowners as well. It says Community Gardens Ireland Bill, but that should be Community Gardens Bill in 2023 that Mark mentioned. I mentioned the climate action plans, and just at the bit at the bottom, for myself and Justina, we're actually called out on the official Dáil record for our input into the development of the bill. So that's never a bad thing to get a little bit of recognition. Next slide, please. This is something I was not at, and I'm not sure if Ellie is going to mention it, so apologies if I'm stealing her thunder, but just want to give a call out to thank you to her and all the team for putting together what I had complete FOMO from not actually attending the event, but it looked absolutely amazing from all the different gardens, the different photos you put up, the pop-up community garden that was prepared at Electric Picnic last year, and the talks that were given as well. So just a huge well done for all that. Next slide, please. Back in autumn, we had quite a large gathering. I think it was 45 to 50 people who actually attended it. It was in Cork. We had wanted to go back to Cork for a number of years, and we finally did. It was in the Glen Community Garden, and then went to Toker afterwards. We opened it officially with an address by the Lord Mayor of Cork. The food was absolutely amazing. My goodness, down in Cork they were absolutely amazing. We had a seat sharing table. We had networking and community building, and we also launched the first ever national allotments and community garden Gardens Week. So just thank you to everyone who were involved with this. Thank you to everyone in Cork, to the Lord Mayor. Thank you to Ellie and Maria as well for kind of helping to organise things locally as well, and particularly with getting donations as well for the running of the event. Next slide, please. One of the biggest things that I suppose has been created over the last number of years is that we now have a national week. We have a national week dedicated to allotments and community gardens. Last year was the first year it kicked off. There were over 30 community-led events. As mentioned, Lord Mayor of Cork officially announced it. We're looking to bring it back this year it's going to be in South Dublin most likely, and it's from the 12th to the 19th of October of 2023. Again, there should be some information coming on this in the coming months. But the theme last year was growing with nature. The theme this year is healthy soil. We launched videos of gardens from all across Ireland. We started conversations as well from people to actually set up community gardens for the first time, and that's just very important to do. And there was a lot of benefits that came out in terms of publicity. Again, quickcrop.ie. If someone wants that discount code, please send an email to info@cgireland.org and we'll let you know about it. Next slide, please. We've had quite a large amount of radio, TV, and newspaper publicity. This all takes time to do press releases or to go on radio shows or to go on the TV. So again, I just want to highlight that we've made quite an impact for an organization that receives absolutely no funding at all. Next slide, please. So Maeve has done. Yep, supporting it. Yeah, Maeve has done quite a lot of bit of work on that, so I want to call her out and just say thank you to her. There's a lot of queries that come into our group about setting up new allotments and community gardens, or just existing community growing projects, about maybe some issues that people are having and looking for advice or people to network with. We've added a lot more allotments and community gardens onto the map and onto the information. We actually have about 200 community growing projects associated with us, and if you're not on the map, please get yourself added by completing the information on the page, and it'll get added over the next month or so. Our social media presence has also grown quite dramatically. Our website is the most active it's ever been as well. Next slide, please. Plan for the Future is something that we have launched for this year. Put a link out on the chat earlier on, but when you're talking to election candidates in the South over the coming months, we just ask you to ask them to implement some of these. These are very simple things that they can do, but if we don't ask, we don't get. So make sure that you're asking your candidates over the coming weeks. Please, next slide. Yeah, as mentioned, the next Allotments Community Gardens Week is coming up 12th to 19th of October. It's completely free, open to all groups, big or small. And it's likely to be in South Dublin, and it's going to be a very kind of composting focus with healthy soil. But listen, you want to get involved, email info@cgireland.org. Last slide, please. This slide is slightly on purpose. The left-hand side, we're asking people to get involved, and because we always want people to kind of to get involved with the committee. But also, if you don't or can't get involved, we accept donations. We are, as I said, we're completely unfunded. So if you or your local community group has some money that you were looking to donate towards a national organization who's trying to get more allotments and community gardens set up, then we do accept donations. If you go onto our website, there's information about how to donate there. But just want to say thank you to everyone who's been involved in Community Gardens Ireland, particularly for the last 3 years. And listen, I think it's going to be an organization that's definitely going to grow from strength to strength. So just a huge thank you for everyone for that. Anyone have any questions on that?
Just huge thanks to you, Donal, for everything that you've done over the last few years. You really have put us on the map more than we have ever been before.
Thank you, Donal.
Thanks, Maeve.
Thank you, Donal.
Thank you, Donal.
No worries. Thank you all. So over to Ellie.
I think, have you got the presentation? One pager, I think, that I sent you, Connor. Just my laptop's ancient. If I try and share my screen, I could be gone for.
Oh, let me. Can you just talk out a second there, Ellie? I'm just hunting it out here.
Or I can just read out. It's very brief. You know, Donal actually covered a good few of the bits I was going to, so I can just read it out briefly either. If no, that's brilliant. I knew you would, so I knew it'd be off the hook.
Yeah, it's just opening up here.
Okay.
Because yours was in Word rather than a PDF. But
Yeah.
Hold on here.
It's very brief as well. It's just the kind of I suppose the logistics of our meetings over the last year.
Oh. Share screen.
Thanks for all your technical support today, Connor, as well.
Can you see that there?
Yeah.
So I'd also included the minutes of last meeting, so we can scroll down through probably all of the first page, really. And the committee members, yeah, Donald did that also as well. So I guess I've just really got to outline how many meetings we have for those of you that might be interested in joining us. So since our AGM last year, at the start of March last year, we had 7 meetings in 2023, 6 of which were held on Zoom, and one of them was our in-person gathering in Cork in October, which Donal outlined as well. And so far this year, we've had 2 meetings on Zoom. It's generally just 1 hour once a month. If anybody is interested but a bit daunted, Donal single-handedly did most of the work, so don't be afraid. You don't have to. Donal is a submission machine, and that's where I ended it as well. Just be on behalf of the committee and on behalf of all community gardeners and allotment holders across the country, would like to offer Donal huge, enormous thank you for your contribution over the last 3 years as chair. I know you're going to stay on in the committee, which is fantastic. But yeah, you're a policy submission machine, and yeah, you've done some really valuable work, so thank you again. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that anyway. If anybody does want to sign up to the committee, you can just let us know now. I'll make a note of your details, or you can email cgiinfo@cgireland.org, and we'll rope you in accordingly. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ellie.
Perfect.
Over to Orla. So Connor, are you able to bring up Orla's slide, please?
I am. I'm just looking for it here. I
Thank
think
you.
this is it. Yeah. We're there.
Are you able to zoom in? Because I can't see.
Yeah, it's very tiny.
Have a
That's all
big
I was
screen.
thinking. How's that?
Yeah, I should manage that. All right. Yeah, grand job. So you'll see, thankfully, we have a wee bit more in the account at the end of the year, which is great because I didn't think we would. And I think even messages back and forth again, Donal was great. Phenomenal actually in getting all the information for me. So we're sitting in a good thing. We've had donations from the events that we had. We just had optional if you wanted to donate anything. Our wee gathering in Cork, we were very blessed. We had Cork Health Action donate €200, and Cork Green Spaces for Health, they donated another €200 as well. So that actually helped us a lot cover the fees and the costs that obviously are incurred whenever you're running an event, and especially the food. The food was delicious, and I know Donal actually paid for that up front, and he's only just recently been reimbursed. And it's been a couple of reasons. One is the bank account, which has caused major chaos, to be quite honest. But it is now, we now have full control. However, these accounts are not based on a recent bank statement, so we're waiting on that. That's the only thing. So I will update it hopefully at the end of March, so it'll be more accurate. So you'll see there's quarterly fees that our bank account is incurs. That I just automatically put those in after August when I think that it may come out. So that has to be just confirmed. So this is not 100% until the end of March, hopefully the end of March. Sorry, was that a question?
We're going to harvest loads today.
It's going to keep on growing.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
So yeah, there's no reconciliations that I know of. I just put that in anyway. So that was if we were paying out a check and it wasn't cleared. So I'm not aware of anything that hasn't cleared yet. Otherwise, I would have put that in. But again, I don't know until I get the actual bank account. Also the checks, thankfully, Maeve and that were able to sort out recent ones. So I have a few checks. So once I get caught up with Connor, we can sign them, and at least I can send a couple of checks from here if needed. But what's great, I think, is having north and south, regardless, that we can cover both parts. And that's really it. I don't think there's anything really on that. If anybody sees anything on that that they want me to clarify or talk about, you'll see the Eventbrite is in there. So that's obviously from our event. And we're hoping that we'll maybe add on money from today's event as well if anybody made any donations. So it really does keep us just ticking over, covering fees, you know, so it's so important. So if you know any links or anybody that could donate a small thing, it will really, really help the accounts. So hopefully that'll be our focus for this year, maybe. For me anyway, or whoever takes on the role of treasurer. So anybody have questions?
That's great. Thanks, Orla. Very comprehensive.
Thanks,
Stop
Orla.
sharing here now, yeah.
I jumped off there by accident, so I'm not sure if you mentioned the issues we were having with actually getting access to the bank account, but that's now been resolved. So listen, just thank you for your work on that. So next up, we have a motion in relation to Dublin Community Growers and Community Gardens Ireland. Miriam, could you?
Yes. Can you all hear me? Okay. This is Miriam here, joining in Crumlin. So we received a motion from the Dublin Community Growers, which, by the way, they have their AGM on the 23rd of March. If anyone wants to. So the motion is that Dublin Community Growers wishes to be affiliate member of Community Gardens Ireland. And I suppose the reason behind is to make sure that any members that are registered with Dublin Community Growers will be being registered with Community Gardens Ireland. And the idea as well is to have in the future different networks, for example, the one in Cork. I know there is, Justina mentioned to us that there is one in Waterford of Community Gardens. So the idea is to have this affiliation. So this was received, John O'Donoghue, who is the chair of Dublin Community Growers, shared this motion. So the idea is, if everyone is happy to approve it, I would like to propose it. And yeah, if someone could second it.
So just to
I'd be happy
explain,
to second that.
I'm happy to propose it, or sorry, I'm happy to second. I don't mind. One thing just to mention on that, so we're not including a constitutional change as part of this. I think we're approving in principle for this to proceed. And if there's a constitutional change on the guide, we're going to work on this afterwards. But the whole idea is that we don't just slow this down. We think it's a good idea. So we're looking to proceed to see what this looks like, just to make everyone kind of aware on what exactly is being agreed here.
And just as well, the whole idea is that in the future, if there are networks in Cork, in Leitrim, in Donegal, or any other parts of the country, then this will be an idea of to have perhaps other affiliate members in the future, no? That's what I understand. Is everyone happy with this?
Should we ask people to do a show of hands for their approval? Great, and we'll take a wee screenshot of that. Just keep your hands up. Lovely. Very technical, but that's at least we got it done.
Nice.
We could put it in the chat either if we wanted it in writing, but it seems like it's passed anyway, so probably
it definitely seems to have approval.
Great. We could also use that photo for social media now. So thanks, Connor. So okay, brilliant. Thank you. Then the only other thing to kind of highlight before we go into any other business is just to what we do every year is that we don't elect members. We don't elect the positions from this meeting. What we do is we ask people to come to the first meeting, which is normally in a couple of weeks' time, and to then elect it from that group. Because rather than having people kind of going through speeches or elections from this, it makes sense that we do it kind of after the fact. So that's why we encourage people to get involved with the Community Gardens Ireland Committee, and at the first meeting, which will be in a couple of weeks' time, of the new committee, we will then agree who is going to be chairperson, treasurer, and secretary from that. So is that in agreement with everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I don't think there's anything else. So we're on to any other business. So is there anything else that anyone?
I have one question. Do we know, and how it might be too early, do we know where about we are going to have a gathering this year, in-person gathering.
I think Airfield was a major contender anyway.
Yeah, so exactly, Airfield have offered to actually host the annual gathering in October, and to tie that in with the National Allotments and Community Gardens Week. So so I suppose at the moment the committee is we're strongly in favor of it, and what we said that over the coming, I suppose, weeks and months, we're going to sit down with Airfield or have a meeting with them and kind of bash out exactly what that's going to look like, and go through the plan for that. But at the moment, it looks like South Dublin is quite likely, and we haven't had anything in Dublin since I've been involved in Community Gardens Ireland. So it's not like it's a Dublin-centric organisation. So it's probably no harm to go back to Dublin for an event like this.
So my question is now, because I was talking to our local council here about the network that we're forming and their partners in that project, and they asked me if we want to spend some money this year. We obviously won't have enough structure or foundation to be in the position to apply for a large amount of money, but and they won't fund individual groups. They will fund networks. And my thought was, but I didn't talk to anyone about that yet. I thought I'd just bring it up here just to see what you think. My thought was that I could potentially apply for, on behalf of CGI, to organize an event in Waterford during the event, the Community Gardens Week. So I wonder if that would clash with the gathering then, or maybe we could possibly have 1 week's difference between one event, because they have up to 75,000 euros to be taken. So I want to take it. And I thought CGI's Community Gardens Week would be a perfect opportunity. Now I have to, if that's a yes for you, then I'll go to the council and propose that to them, if they would like to invest in the national network, that for something that will be based in Waterford, that could be beneficial for the local growers as well. So I don't know if you can just share your thoughts now quickly with me. That would be great.
I think that would
go for Connor.
Yeah, I think that'll be brilliant, and I think there's an opportunity there for us to have a thing in Dublin with the Dublin community growers, maybe a partnership there, and then they have a thing in Waterford with the Waterford community growers, demonstrate partnership happening across both of those. And I think bookending the week would be fantastic. We bookended with an event in the north last time, but I kind of think there's a great opportunity to really emphasise what's going on there between the local organisations and the national organisation too, and you should jump on it if there's funding available.
So Connor, potentially would it be possible to fund the network CGI, but social farms and gardens will be included in that, obviously. Is that okay?
Well, oh yeah. We'll definitely see if we can bring something onto that as well. Our core funding is finished in August, so we're putting on funding applications left, right, and centre at the moment. So God knows, like but there are opportunities out there, and we'll certainly look at that too.
The idea I had in my head was to organize sort of fairs. So each group would be each community group from all over the country, obviously, would be invited to Waterford to have their stand or stall. And my idea was to actually fund that for them, and so they don't have to create their own stall because they're coming here to create one stall for that. So in my head was having 50 at least community gardens at the fairs, like the Waterford fairs for the Community Gardens Week, and then social farms and gardens, and CGI could be the leaders of the event. So, but that's just an idea for now.
I feel a subcommittee coming on to hammer that out, which would be a really, really good thing to do after this. Like, but
perhaps there could be a percentage earmarked for CGI administration or social farms and gardens administration or something like that, which would contribute to the network funding, annual funding goal.
I'll talk to you, Molly. You're experienced person with the funding, so
Not really, but I'm happy for it to be a
I
group.
mean, I'm happy to be in the subcommittee, but in relation to the Dublin one, do we know for sure that we can have that location in? So do we have it in writing or an email to say that can happen there, or do we need any other things? For the
So
Dublin one.
I think a lot of this seems to be things that we'll work out on the first committee meeting. I think the discussion's good about the actual gathering itself. And I think the idea of bookending it is a good idea. The actual particulars, let's take it out of the AGM and discuss that at the actual committee meeting. Right now, we're very. I think we have. I don't know if we have it in writing or we have an email. But I had a phone call with the head of Airfield who's offered us this. So either way, as I said, let's work it out over the next while. But it's very positively going towards Airfield and South Dublin. But the date is definitely the 12th, Saturday the 12th to Saturday the 19th of October for the week. So we'll be planning events around them. So just so you know, yeah, I think it's a good idea. Let's explore it.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
John
go
had
ahead.
his hand up there.
Yeah. I just want to add, Donald, that I could put it to the Committee of Dublin Community Growers, to collaborate with CGI as regards having the event in Airfield. Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah, I think that's something we can definitely work together with each other on. Molly, you coming in?
Yeah, just coming in to say an email was circulated last week, and it outlines it's contributing to helping us to have a stronger North Star as an organization, so that we can clearly work together towards very clear visions and missions. If you didn't receive this email, just let me know. I'm in the WhatsApp group, and obviously for any new member joining, we can share it with you after our first meeting. But the intention behind it is to just get even more and more clear about why we exist, why we continue to show up every day. This will help our funding applications. It'll also help us to feel more of an immediate reward for the work that we do, and also help us to design what needs attention where, what roles need to exist, and ultimately what we're all working towards.
I think Molly is doing a fantastic job, and thank you, Molly. Just want to clarify one thing, that some people who are joining the AGM are not committee members. So this exercise that Molly is doing is right now with committee members. If anyone else who is now want to join the committee, I think you will be able to share with them, just to have this clarification, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, thanks, Molly. I think that's a great one to shout out. So just we're in any other business. So can anyone? Does anyone else have anything else they'd like to raise?
Just to say, Donald, we're just asking people who wish to be on the committee to write the word committee, put it in the chat now, and then we have that list. That will allow us to track down any new members that want to come on.
Dee has her hand up there.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Dee.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat. You might have discussed this as part of the affiliation, but you have you? Yeah. All is nodding like mad.
Very briefly, we had a conversation about it, but please say it, Dee, and so we can discuss.
Yeah, no, it was just knowing how hard it is to get national funding. If you've got affiliated local committees, perhaps there's an affiliation fee. And it's tricky because I know in Carlo it's hard enough trying to get that network together and then ask them for money, but you might be able to get the money from the county councils or the other places. So yeah, that was all.
Yeah, that's been kind of briefly mentioned, but I think that's the model we're going to have to move towards, because it is so hard to get. Like the fact that our operating costs are you saw it's only a couple of €100 per year. But even to have a set and steady funding coming in, it would take away a lot of the noise from what we have to do from an organization point of view. So we basically I think that's the reason why we're approving in principle rather than fully approving and going through everything, because then we can maybe discuss what that's going to look like. So it's good shout out to that, because that's what we need to move toward.
Brilliant.
Okay, last shout out, Connor, go ahead.
I just saw Dee was putting her hand up to come back in the committee there for a second.
Come back, Dee.
I think Joanne actually did express an interest, so just I'll get in contact with her. So I'll highlight that. Just outside of this meeting. So okay, listen, if no one has any other things that Whispers Committee, if no one has anyone else, anything else they'd like to highlight, just want to thank you all for attending. I know we've all been sitting down since 11 o'clock or 10:30 for some of us to go through this for the last while, but just thank you all for your time, for listening through everything, and listen, all the best and best of luck to the new committee and the members and the new officers as well who can be elected at the first meeting.
Thanks, Donal.
Oh, Mirren, we need something to propose. No, Mirren, we agreed that we're going to accept this, so I think we're okay. We already agreed that we're going to take names and then agreed this at the first committee meeting, so I think we're actually okay. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Listen,
Great work today.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thanks all.
Everybody.
Before you close, can you
Bye.
make sure, please, you save the chat? Someone who can check the chat, the chat, please. Can someone save the chat?
I think it'll be saved automatically, Miran. Am I right?
Really?
It saves
Okay.
with the recording, I think.
With the recording, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Have a
Thanks
lovely
all.
evening.
Have a nice
Bye.
weekend.
Thanks a
Bye-bye.
million.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Tara, great. Thank you so much for getting that presentation organised.
Oh, no bother, no
That
bother.
was brilliant to see what's going on out there. Like, you know, we don't. We have to get to the west. We were chatting about that a couple of years ago, weren't we? That we were going to get a gathering out, and maybe in 2025.
Maybe, yeah. I'm coming back now. I'm with full force. I had a few bits on last year, and my dad died and stuff. So
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so it's kind of getting back into it now, though, this year. So yeah, you'll see more of me. So hopefully, yeah, keep me in mind for the committee anyway, because I'll definitely be ticking away down here, you know. And Katrina will get involved as well, you know.
We'll send it out. She'll come to the next meeting, and you know yourself, it's there's some people who are really busy on the committee, and there's other people that come on the meetings, and when something comes up, they do it, you know, and that's why it's so strong, because
I'll stay in the periphery,
it's a
but
broad one.
you know, if I'm asked, I'll get stuff done, and I'll definitely, if it's in Dublin, I'll be able to get there. It's when it's in Cork and Waterford, it's hard for me to get there. You know yourself. It's just, you know yourself.
From Derry, it's to Cork. That's mad. We just overnighted, but there you go. Great stuff,
Right.
Tara. Lovely to see you, and
you,
we'll chat soon.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.